Before I stop, I need to clarify about some messages that are going around about the Parsi lying in hospital. And for those of you who are WhatsApp savvy or who are getting WhatsApps on your phones, will be getting messages which are saying a Parsi lying in hospital, vechai gai. One message goes to the ridiculous extent of saying कि 1 करोड़ रुपया ना हफ्ता में 30 वर्ष ने कहता 30 करोड़ रुपया लई ने ये लोग वेची करी. I was not involved in the Parsi lying in hospital at the time that this agreement was entered into between Crimsons and the Parsi lying in hospital committee. But I joined in 2012, which was after the agreement was signed. But I am proud and happy to say that not only do I stand by what my earlier people have signed, I believe that it's genuinely very good for the community. So now why? Who are the people who signed the original agreements? Dr. Nelly Noble, Dr. Rusi Sunawala, Ratu Dastur of Khushrubag, Manek Engineer Sahib, okay, Minu Shroff. These are the stalwarts, Mancherji Kama, who actually penned and inked and executed that document. So you're going to wonder, क्या है बड़ा अटला बड़ा मोटा मोटा सोजा सोजा नाम तो बड़ा इटला बड़ा बेवकूफ उठा के लोग सस्ता में बेची करी. What happened? The thing is that the Parsi lying in hospital was abandoned about 20-25 years ago, or maybe even a little more. It's in Fountain. Those of you who know it as Temulji Suavar Khana will know it as that. Some of you may have been born there. There were 2 plots. One whose lease expired in 1992 and a second plot whose lease expired in 2002. All those who are talking about any potential did not even bother to take a single step to even renew the lease. The Parsi lying in hospital had a lot of unutilized potential, which when people like Manek Engineer, Mancherji Kama, Yasdi Bhagwagar, Dr. Sunawala got together, they said we need to do something. Because the only thing that the Bombay Parsi Panchayat trustees wanted to do with this property was sell it off. In the year 1999, they had approached the charity commissioner, and at that time also the charity commissioner had denied them the permission and the managing committee had fought them and said, "Can I vechwa nahi desu?" So the Parsi lying in hospital committee members got into an agreement with a company called Crimson's Hospitality Services or whatever. One of the key players in Crimson, for example, is Dr. Arun Mullaji. Now, those of you who may not know the name, he is probably one of the topmost doctors for hip and knee replacement kind of surgeries in the city of Bombay today. Probably the best. He charges about 4 lakh rupees just to do an operation of a hip replacement or whatever. These people got together and said, we will build a super specialty orthopedic hospital which will be top of the line in this Parsi lying in hospital premises. Everything from getting the permissions to paying the old dues to getting the lease renewed, etc. will be done by us. And the most important thing which benefited the community was that 5% of the top line, जे भी ये लोग बिल करे ते amount, not their profit, not their losses, whatever, जे बिल करे, then 5% would be paid to the Parsi lying in hospital and the Bombay Parsi Panchayat. The estimate is that if the hospital progresses and makes money as it's supposed to, builds as it's supposed to, you would get about 4 to 5 crores every year just as lease rent. On that 4 to 5 crores, there's an unearned income to be paid to the government. So if they pay us 4 crores, they have to pay 4 crores as unearned income to the government. That also will be paid by them. But more important than this 4 crore, 5 crore, 2 crore, 8 crore is the fact that there is a agreement to have 10% outpatients and 10% of the hospital beds reserved for the Parsi community, completely free of cost. If it's an 80-bed, at one time when it started, it was a 130-bed hospital. The objections were there, laws changed, it became an 80-bed hospital. 80 બેડ હોસ્પિટલમાં એટલે 8 બેડ વિલ બી રિઝર્વ ફોર પારસીસ. એઝ્યુમિંગ કે 4 કે 5 દાડામાં એક ઓપરેશન થઈને એક માણસ ઘેરે જાય, એક બેડ પર મહિનાના 6 ઓપરેશન થશે. With 8 beds you get 48 operations every month, which means you get about 600 operations a year. Even if you don't consider Arun Mullaji's fees to be 4 lakhs, even 2 lakh bhi pakro, so it converts to about 12 crores rupees every year. But let's not put a money value to this. Let's understand the importance and the availability of such a highly technical and modern orthopedic hospital for the community which has osteoporosis, arthritis, hip replacement, knee replacement, those kind of orthopedic problems for the asking. हर एक घेर छोड़े बीजा घेर में कोई ने कोई knee replacement नहीं जरूरत है, hip replacement नहीं जरूरत है, whatever. So it's not just going to be for the poor. You're not going to have 600 operations every year. So even a middle class person who wants to have an operation with Mullaji would prefer to go to an hospital like this, and instead of paying 4 lakhs to Mullaji and 4 lakhs or 2 lakhs for a plastic knee or whatever, might give a donation of 2 lakhs to the trust and get it done as a Parsi, free of cost. With a scheme like this, it was prevented from happening for 4 years. Today the message that is going around is saying that this deal was done behind closed doors and no public auction took place. The fact is that when the BPP was approached and they were asked, the BPP said public auction. The committee, which at that time I was not there, I joined later, wrote to the BPP and said, we are willing, please go ahead and place an advertisement. Invite tenders, invite quotations for any hospitality service to match the requirements that we have signed with Crimsons. The BPP said okay, and they sent a draft of the notice that they were going to put in the Times of India. The draft said, this property is available for sale on an outright basis. So the BPP continued to want to sell the property for 30 crores, 100 crores, whatever the amount that it got, and take the money and put it in their bank. And the Parsi lying in hospital committee, whether it was Dr. Sunawala or at that time it was Minu Shroff, whoever, stood firm and said, we do not want to sell the property. We want to use it for the good of the community. Recently, about in the month of, I think June, April, May, June, this was in the High Court. The High Court judge said, ultimately, most of the trustees agreed that this is a good scheme, and they signed the ratification, yes, except for 2 trustees. One of the trustees said, no, I don't agree with this scheme. 3 or 4 days later, that trustee said, yes, I agree with the scheme. 3 or 4 days later, again that trustee said, no, I do not agree with that scheme. And the trustee changed her mind 3 or 4 times, at which point the High Court said that you have changed your mind a little too often. We will not consider your view because you are just saying yes, no, whatever. But the one trustee who went on objecting, went on telling the High Court that I have a brilliant offer from Bridge Candy Hospital. And these people, these 12 eminent people, Dr. Sunawala, etc., are all scamsters. You know about a scam courage. They are not good people. I am the only good person. I want to protect this property for my trust, for my community. And I have an offer from Bridge Candy. In the year, I think maybe 2002, 2003, Bridge Candy had approached the Parsi lying in hospital committee and said, "Amune here nurses ne khatar living quarters banawach. So we are willing to rent that space to build quarters for our nurses." And the Parsi lying in hospital committee had said, "No, we don't want just rent. We want something to happen for our community." Well, long story short, when the judge was told that we have a better offer for Bridge Candy, the judge said, "Okay, produce the offer." So the first time the judge was told कि नहीं जी हमारे पास हमने ऑफर नहीं जगह पर एम टेम कहीं ने you may kindly give us date and we'll produce the offer. A date was given. In fact, the bench changed. A new bench came in. So the new bench looked at what had happened in the last order and said, you have said you will be giving us the Bridge Candy offer. Please give us the Bridge Candy offer. So an affidavit was given, tendered across the bar, saying that Bridge Candy M Kayuj, Bridge Candy M Kayuj, Bridge Candy M Kayuj. The judge said, no. I don't want you to tell me Bridge Candy is Su Kayuj. I want the offer from Bridge Candy in writing, which is the only thing that I will accept. That's what the judge said. So again, time was asked for. Kene mane ek pandadara apo, we'll produce the offer. After 15 days, again the case was called. It was in the morning. Again the judge said, where is the offer of Bridge Candy? Where are the alternative offers? Sir, we haven't brought it today, So the judge said, I am keeping the case back till the afternoon. If in the afternoon session, by 3 o'clock, you do not produce an offer in writing from Bridge Candy, I will pass an order. Obviously, since there was no offer was produced before the court. The court in its order has recorded that time and again we were told that there's an offer from another hospitality service, but it was never produced before the court. Therefore, we are no longer entertaining this petition, and we are accepting that the majority trustees and Parsi Line Hospital committee members have done what is in the interest of the community, and they are entitled to do this as the majority trustees, and therefore approved the agreement between the two. Now, it's election time. And an application has been moved in the Supreme Court. And based on the application which is moved in the Supreme Court, 3 months is the time given to you for making an appeal. Those 3 months got over in, I think, July or something. It was in April, so May, June, July, yes. On 30th July was the last date for them to file an application. It was not filed on or before the 30th of July. But on the 5th of October, an application, an SLP application was made before the Supreme Court and heard by the Supreme Court. And based on that, there is a plethora of WhatsApp messages and SMSs saying, okay, please help us, help me fight to protect the property of Parsi Line Hospital. Of course, it's going to be heard soon, and if at all it's admitted, it will be admitted, or it may be thrown out. Irrespective of that, what has happened finally is that the doctors are fed up. The doctors are now saying, okay, boss, we have waited for 4.5 years. We have trusted the Parsi community. We have spent our money fighting the court cases. We do not want to now continue fighting. Because Supreme Court में भी हमें जीतसू, तो पाछू कोई ना कोई ने ये लोग का उभू कर से, पाछू हमारा पर केस कर से. Why do we want to do that? So many new hospitals are coming up. We'll go there and we'll work there. And they're not bothered. This was something that was a project for them in 2010, 2011. 5 years pachi, the interest level is definitely going to be going down because the hospital is becoming smaller, the rules are becoming stricter, and they're investing money in court cases instead of investing in building the hospital, and they're not being allowed to work. This has become what the Bombay Parsi Panchayat has been doing. This is a symbol of what they are doing. This is a sort of a, what do you call it, symptom of the disease that has existed in the Panchayat.